geranium. Okay. Now this one is one that you should probably know because it's just all over the trade. Okay. These are sold widely and heavily. A lot of geranium sold. Okay. Now one thing, all you have to do, and in fact, I don't know if I mentioned it to you guys. I think it'd be cool to teach a plant class like where basically you had to, you wore a bandana across your eyes, like a blindfold, where you couldn't see anything and you had to feel and smell everything. That would be my kind of plant class.
That's kind of scary.
Yeah, probably. So you have to really trust the guys.
Yeah.
Okay. But at any rate, rub your hand across that. You don't have to pinch it or anything. And you can kind of get a little bit of the geranium smell. Okay. The other thing about geranium, okay, so you get these reds and pinks and whites as far as flower color, and obviously the flower is extremely brilliant. But if you ever get into like a greenhouse where there's only red geraniums, it's sort of an unsettling experience because you start to lose, it's almost like you lose your bearings a little bit. Like I almost passed out one time in a greenhouse full of red geraniums. The sun was beating down on these things and all I could see was red. It's kind of a scary deal. So if you ever go in there, make sure maybe like somebody ties a rope around your ankle so they can drag you out of there when you get done. All right. The other thing is, this doesn't always happen on these geranium leaves, but you see it more times than not. Is this little reddish flush, or this little red, almost looks like a watermark. Okay, on this particular leaf. It always occurs in this little roundish shape, right around the middle of the leaf. Okay, you see that sort of reddish flush. Okay, that occurs on most geraniums that we see in the trade. Doesn't have to, but on most of them. And then you also notice that if you actually sort of flatten this thing out, it'd be much more rounded. Okay, but because of the undulate nature of it, it almost looks sort of cloverish, I'd suppose, to some extent. All right, it's very soft. That's pubescence all over it. Okay, pubescence on the stem, and the stem is very rigid. The pedicel especially is very rigid. Okay, and then they're easily broken, so do be careful with that. They're really kind of fragile. And then all these flowers occur up here in these umbels, and they're really, really showy. Okay. But again, if somebody just rubbed my hand across some geranium and I smelled it, I'd know what it was. Okay.